Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to do a similar video that I did a couple of days ago. We're going to look over some forum criticism. So you guys enjoyed it last time. Pretty much what I do is I'm going to look over a couple of threads, and I'm just going to speak my mind. You know, I don't really have a script for it. I'm just going to say what I got to say. You guys enjoyed my inputs last time, so yeah, we're back at it. I found some interesting threads, as you can see the first one on the screen. So yeah, let's get right into it. I have no idea how long this is going to be. I'm not really timing this. It's just whatever comes to my head, right? So we have 3 threads so far. We'll see at the end if I want to choose some more, but let's begin with this first one. So let's read it. So a 90-employee studio with one actively maintained product is releasing only one 3-line bug fix patch per week. Unbelievable. Something must be very wrong with the management team and Tail Worlds. I'd like to wholeheartedly advise the leaders of this company that they must do something to keep their company alive for the next decade. Alrighty, let's I'm sorry. Okay, so let's break this down. So the whole so a 90 employee studio, so that I think that is accurate. I think that's about how much they have. It might not be 90 exactly, but I think that is how much they have in the studio, if I'm not mistaken. One actively maintained product, I don't know if that is completely true. And then is releasing one 3-line bug fix patch per week. That is definitely not true. As we saw in the Steam update that was that came out a couple days ago, they made a post, the developers, and they stated they made how much? I think what was it? I think 78 or 80 updates in the past 11 weeks. So about 7 updates a week. So I don't know where this is exactly coming from, but it's very inaccurate. And I feel like if you're going to make a post like this, then, you know, you should come with the facts. Because he definitely came with the facts with the whole 90-employee studio. The one actively maintained product is... let me go check it real quick. Hold on, let me go check it on the other screen. I don't want anything to pop up. There we go. So if we go Tail Worlds, active games. Is it the only game? It is looking like it is the only game, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is the only game. Okay, he got that information right as well. But the patch one is very off. So he said there's something must be very wrong with the management team and Tail Worlds. I'd like to wholeheartedly, that's a good choice of words, advise the leaders of this company that they must do something to keep their company alive for the next decade. Okay, all memes aside, if this was a serious post, then maybe he would have wrote more than just, you know, 2 sentences, right? But I don't know. I feel like this is kind of the, what would you call it? Not the culture, but kind of like the space that we are in right now. It's a lot easier to hate than it is to, you know, do anything else nowadays. And this one, he sounds upset by this post, but at the same time, it's very inaccurate. It's just, I think it's out of, you know, out of rage. It's not out of, you know, any facts of that nature. But let's see what other people have to say in the post, and let's see who agrees and who disagrees. So we got, wow, you fixed it. They are active. Hey dude, until now they didn't make work perk. How horrible. 3 weeks work made 1 perk working. Hope ASAP mod tool share for mod creator. They working better. Well, so sad this is real. Well, this might not be his first, English might not be his first language here. So I'm not gonna like try to go in on him with grammar. I'm not, you know, English isn't my first language either, so I'm not gonna do that. But perk situation, what he's talking about is how they're only upgrading 1 perk at a time. And in another video, I did mention the developers are pretty much upgrading 1 perk at a time. And they, trust me, the developers understand that a lot of perks aren't working. They understand that. But here's how they decided to fix it for anybody who's wondering. So what they did was every time they do a major update, like a move to live and a new beta patch, they overhaul, which overhaul pretty much means they take the perk. I mean, they take one of the skills, right? One of the main skills, like one-handed, two-handed, trade, any of those, right? And they overhaul it completely. They give it secondary effects, and they make sure it's working. That's what they do with every single patch. And then they wait until the next patch, do little quick fixes if they need to, and then on the next patch, they overhaul another skill. They do this so every time they fix one skill, they want to see how those fixes impact the game. Once they see the impact, then they will do the next one. If they overhauled the whole perk system, it would actually be a very drastically different game experience. And it would give very little information on what went wrong because you changed the whole system around. But if you only change one thing at a time, you can actually pinpoint where the problems are, if that makes sense. So that is it. That is how they are doing it. They currently have fixed all the vigor skills, which is one-handed, two-handed, and polearm. And I think the next one in line is the bow skill, if I'm not mistaken. That is the next one that they are going to fix. So Terror developers must be busy grilling those barbecues in their company front yard. Good one. Just pray for a full release within the next year. I understand. I'm not going to say that word because I'm going to get demonetized. And everything else is working against them, but in the few months, there are simply too many mods that fix and remedy for me to provide any defense for this time frame of work, especially with the time on the forums alone. They're very selective when it comes to feedback. I hope the mod tools are glorious. Well, okay, so this is a double-edged sword in my opinion. So the whole fact of the matter is, yeah, there's stuff that's working against them, but then again, you know, it's software development that can work from home, so yeah, I get that. The whole point of, oh, but there's already a lot of mods, you have to understand how many different people are working on different mods as well. So this whole, if we go up, this whole 90 employee studio, when we're talking about mods, there are hundreds, if not thousands of people making mods, if we're not, you know, if we're keeping it honest, right? So the fact of the matter is saying that, you know, and a lot of these mods, don't think a lot of these mods just fix all the problems. They add problems with themselves as well, you know what I mean? It's not just like that, but obviously people only see the positive that come out of it, right? But I do agree. I really hope for the full release, you know, by next year to be great. I think it will be, you know, contrary to people's beliefs and contrary to people thinking, oh, he's selling out, he's doing it. Man, I ain't getting paid nothing. I have 3 jobs, man. You know what I mean? If I was getting paid by Terror Worlds to talk good about them and to do that about them, trust me, I wouldn't have 3 jobs. You know, right now it is 2 a.m. in the morning. You know, I have to wake up early tomorrow. I have to go take some photos with my girlfriend. She's pregnant. You know, we're going to take those maternity photos. Then I have to go back to work. Then I have to do. Then after that, I have to go back to my second job. Then I have to go make another YouTube video. You know, so trust me, I'm not getting, I'm not getting any special treatment here. You know, I'm doing what has to be done. And when I do talk good about a company, you know, it's not coming from a place of, oh, I want something from them or I'm getting something from them. It's coming from a place of me trying to be honest. And, you know, I understand when someone doesn't care and when someone does care, if that makes sense, right? Like that, you know, I've been through big parts of my life where, you know, I've realized people who do care about their work, people who don't care about their work, right? So I'm just trying to keep it honest, if that makes sense, right? So they made hundreds of millions of dollars selling Bannerlord. Must have been busy with all the barbecue. Good one. By the way, I'm very glad that their tiny fix didn't break any mod. Happened before. Well, most fixes will break mods because, you know, different code is implemented. So therefore, the code that usually mods go off of, if that code is changed, the mod will be broken. But that's just the way of life. That's any game, you know. It is early access. I've tried many early access games and betas, and now I know that this is going way better than other games like Cube World, many others. They've done a great job, like Warband, with too many updates. Show the dev support. Yeah, see, I agree, but unfortunately, this guy's gonna get overshadowed. He's probably gonna get made fun of in the forums because guess what? He's talking positive, and talking positive nowadays is just gross. I know. But look, here's the thing. I have mentioned this also. I've played a lot of early access games. You know, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Let's not act like this is the worst early access game you've played. Let's be completely honest. There's a lot of early access games that have been early access for years now, with only like 3 significant changes that have done nothing but make the game worse. And then developers completely abandon that project and move on to the next early access project. I'm not calling out any games, but you know exactly what they are. I don't want to stir up any trouble with people who might love the game that I mentioned, so I'm not going to mention it. But trust me, there is a huge trend of people doing the whole early access thing and giving it a terrible, terrible name. So whenever you just hear early access, you think, oh, the game is garbage. Even though early access was supposed to be a feature to let players come into a game early and help build it up. That was the goal of early access. But now it's just been so, it's been so bad mouthed, and like so many people, so many developers who have early access games completely just ruined the name of early access, and it's kind of a joke nowadays, So it's unfortunate, but it had good intent in my opinion. So we know a bigger patch is in the works, but let's be real, even if it's released a big patch every week, you would still complain that it didn't have enough content and things you wanted. Ooh. Truth. Any truers? Okay, yeah, that's true, people who are going to be upset, they're going to be upset, Any big changes isn't really going to change that, and the thing is, I want to see what a lot of these people who are talking very badly about the devs, what they're going to say in a year or two when the game is completely finished. We'll see. Look, I don't want to say anything, but if I had to put, a little bet in, a little gamble in, I think in a year or two this game is going to be very polished. I think it's going to have a lot more content because, like I stated before, right now they are working on stability. They are working to make the game stable, and then they will add content. Because if a game's not stable and you just add content, you're going to run into a lot of problems. Why? Because guess what? All that content that is added, you can't even be, used properly because the game isn't stable enough to use that content, if that makes sense, right? So, yeah, people going to hate when they hate. It is what it is. So I assume OP is running a game development company. Ooh, tough. I like how people are actually sticking up because I usually don't see that often, but cool. As long as I get proper modding tools, I don't care what they do. Every player has their own vision of Bannerlord should be even. Yeah, true. I think they are going to get proper modding tools. The devs have talked about it in the past, so I think they are going to get that. I think people who want to see extra things in the game, and trust me, I want to see extra things in the game, and I have been looking at mods recently, and there are really some good mods, you know what I mean? And I don't think, and some of these good mods that I see, I know they're never going to be added into the main game because that's not the vision that, the developers have for the game. But at the same time, you can have their vision in mind and also have mods that you enjoy. It's not, it's not like, what do you call it? The developers have never stated they're against mods. They've always said they are with mods. And big reason Warband had a lot of relevance for a long time was because of mods, There was a lot of very good mods that you can play over the years that made people keep coming back to the game. And trust me, if we really go down the line in like 1 to 2 years from now, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some amazing mods. There's going to be a lot more content, and it's going to be kind of the same thing as Warband, if not better. The game may not be finished in a week. If patience isn't your thing, why did you buy an early access game? Boom, boom, boom. Look at that. I like how people come with the heat in this one. I like that. Early access is all about patience. You're damn right. Okay. I get super grumpy about the lack of updates lately. I'm not counting fixes of things that were broken by patches and updates. Well, okay. I also wonder... Okay. Can't say that. And other issues could be harder on them than we know. Perhaps the working team is actually much smaller right now because they have personal issues to take care of. We just don't know. I'm grumpy because I want the end result of a fuller, but I don't really know what it's like on their end. I understand people are grumpy, but at the same time, they could have just waited a year and not released anything. And I think that it's a good discussion to have. Should they have waited 1 more year to release the full game, or should they have just done early access like they have? I can't give you an answer on that, right? because doing it in early access, obviously a lot of people are going to be upset, but at the same time, people are going to try out the game. People are going to, people who do want to play the game and who do want to help build it up are going to be there, right? So I don't know. That's a good discussion to have that I don't have an answer to yet, but yeah, man, it's early access. It was said, and I already had my spiel about it. Do you know that if they put all the efforts on immediate fixes, you would never have the main features, the left, right? The main features, the left, right. In a developer team, you don't have everyone working on the same things because it's not worthy. If you can't deal with your frustration, probably you should play other games. Meanwhile, yeah, developer teams they're very what do you call it? What do you call it? They're especially in a game that has this much complex scenarios and complex aspects. Because guess what? They're very complex aspects. I'm trying to say it, but having the whole map being played as you're playing the game is actually very complex and very hard to code those type of things, right? Even though it's kind of bare bones right now, it's still very, I'm pretty sure it's very code intensive. I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer, but I'm pretty sure, there's a lot of if this happens, do this, if that happens, do this, otherwise do that, that type of code. I think there's a lot of that in this game because, even though the AI is kind of brainless, they still got a, somewhat good brain because they do somewhat make good decisions, right? But yeah, I'm kind of getting off topic. What in the world? Yeah, like my main point that I was trying to get to was in a developer team, they do split different developers to do different things because if everybody worked on the same thing, there'd be very little progress and it would be very slow because obviously, if you have everybody writing code on the same thing, it wouldn't make any sense at all. If everybody worked on just let's say the war problem, right, that we've had, right? It's still kind of going on, but that we've had, right? If everybody was coding on that same problem, a lot of code would mess up because it's a lot of different parties working on the same thing. I don't know how to explain it perfectly. Hopefully a developer or software person who watches my videos can explain that more. What's wrong with everyone codes the same, what do you call it? If everyone is pretty much putting all their effort together on the same issue, is that good or bad? Pretty much. If anybody is watching who's like a software developer or a coder, let me know what your I can tell that it's bad, but let me know what your thoughts on that is, right? Now, what else do we got? You seem to be an expert on how to run 90 plus people game dev company. Offer them your consulting services. True. But this has 7 pages. I'm going to link this one below. This is our first little post. Not little, this is kind of the bigger post out of the other 2. But let's move on to the second one. This is a good one right here. Why are developers focused on bug fixes rather than adding content? Now, before I read this, I don't think this guy is coming from any intent of being angry or anything like that. I think this is an actual unbiased or it's just a question, right? So are they doing it? Are they doing it as they make new content? Hold on. So why are developers focused on bug fixes rather than adding content, or they are doing it as they make new content? Okay, that's kind of a weird question, but okay. So let's just read the replies before I say my part on it, right? Because added new content before fixing game-breaking bugs will introduce more game-breaking bugs and make the older bugs harder to fix. Ooh, that's the best way I could actually put it. That is actually the best way I could put it. Like I said before, there are a lot of early access games that have so much content, right? That people want to play with and want to do it but at the same time you can't get to that content because there's so many bugs and it's so unstable to the point where it's not playable even though it has so many good features that you want to try, right? There's been a lot of there's been a lot of multiplayer survival games that really have this issue. Like I said, I'm not going to name names, but multiplayer survival games, right? The ones that have combat, you can fight, it's like a PvP survival, you know what I mean? You can build your own stuff and all that. A lot of those games, they came out a couple, in the past couple years. They have real big problems with adding a lot of content that looks cool, looks amazing, but you get into the game and you're at 10 frames, you crash, half of the stuff doesn't work that's actually shown, and that's the problem. So obviously, if you don't get rid of bugs before you add all this new content, your game won't be playable enough to actually use that content, to actually experience that content, if that makes sense, right? Because that makes sense, true. I agree for game breaking, but it feels like they're only focusing on only bugs. I don't mind if they make content at the same time. Okay, so this is a reply. He was the main guy who made it. Okay. Yes, but at this point, it feels like 2-3 months to pass, and they add small little thing instead of big content. It seems that their focus is all over the place instead of some major points. Take taxes for example. It's a simple mechanic, and we still don't have it yet. But I am not a programmer, so I don't know the system of making such mechanics. I don't know if you mean by taxes like how you implement taxes, because you can change taxes through policies, and through some perks you get more or less taxes from them. So I don't know exactly what you mean by the taxes, but in the past 2-3 months, if we really look at it, right, or 11 weeks, I think that's what they said in the Steam update that came a couple of days ago, right? So we have received a lot of major things. One important one being how wars are done and how peace is done. That has been overhauled, in my opinion. We have the new overhauled perks that are slowly being overhauled. We have, a lot of economy changes that we've seen as well, and a lot of castle and fief upgrade changes that I think are actually good for the game as well. Yeah, I don't think they were very small changes, in my opinion. I think it was big content. And also, if we do look at other games, like other big games that are already finished, right? Like in my past video, some guy was talking about Warhammer and Civilization, which are two. I would say they're kind of similar to this game, but not really. But they are as similar as you can really get, right? So those games, they only get major content patches, like the major, DLC updates, whatever you want to call them. They only get them a couple times a year, sometimes even 1 or 2 times a year, if we really look at it, right? So, the game even being out for 2-3 months and you not seeing this big content thing that you want to see, it's not very uncommon. There's not many games that give you huge content patches every month or every week. That's not common, especially not in the game like the gaming scene as we see it today. Obviously some games do it. Don't get me wrong, but it's actually very uncommon to see that. Let's read some more. As far as I know, they're working on the game's code. They're making them better so you can change features without changing the code. True, they said they are refactoring the code to make it a little bit easier to build off later. As far as I know, okay, something like a stable foundation. I hope it doesn't take them too long. I don't think it will take them too long. I think it's gonna. Well, it depends what too long is to the person, right? It depends how people take time, right? So someone a week can be too long, and for someone, 10 years can be too long. It's very. It depends how you take it. I think it will take them a couple more months, to be honest with you, to make the game fully stable as they want it, or as they want to see it be. All right. I don't think it's going to be done in a week or 2. I don't think it's going to be done in a month or 2. I think it might take 3, 4, 5, 6 months, around there. And after that, I do think they are going to add a lot more content. But with more content comes even more bug fixes. So it's a revolving door. Once you introduce a lot more content, guess what? You're going to have to patch all that content. You have to make that content, stable. And I think it's an ongoing process, but patience is the key. Content updates are always being worked on, but they're bigger updates that aren't as frequent as hotfixes. True. So yeah, like a hotfix. So here's the thing: they have released a lot of hotfixes, yes, and those are the what do you call it? If we go back to this guy over here, the 1 3-line bug fixes patch per week, those are hot fixes, and hot fixes are never supposed to be huge. They're just supposed to fix either a bug problem or a crash problem. They're not supposed to introduce a lot of new aspects to the game. Those are big patches, those are bigger updates. But hot fixes, they're supposed to be like what, 32 megabytes, shoot, sometimes even less than 2 megabytes. They're just supposed to fix small little things in code, to help out problems, and pretty much hotfixes, like, they're like, how can I explain this? They're like band-aids. Like, that's kind of the best way I can put it, right? So whenever the game sees it, like, I mean, the developers see like there's a problem and there's an easy fix for it, same way as, hey, oh, you're bleeding a little bit, let me put a band-aid on it, right? It's kind of that same theory, if that kind of makes sense, right? And then the content or the bigger updates, that's like, okay, so this isn't it's not the best comparison, but but yeah, hotfixes, they fix small bugs and crashes. Bigger updates are content updates. You know, you have a lot of new content being added and stuff of that nature. Now let's move on to our. This has a couple. This has only 2 pages. I'm gonna link this one below and what's it called in the description if you guys want to check this one out as well. But let's read the last one. This one just came. Well, actually, no, it was yesterday, but I like the title. You know, I like it. I like it. So let's read it. We got boring. I don't understand. How does the game determine if you're going to war or not? I have literally been playing this game for over an hour and nothing has happened. I run around, kill some looters, and that's it. This would be fine if I had a castle or something, but I don't. So this is getting stupid. You don't want to go piss off someone, but come on. This is supposed to be a continent at continual, I can't read, sorry. A continent at continual war. What the hell? I'm sorry. Let me get serious. Let's just read the one response that it has gotten before I say what I have to say. Are you a vassal, merc, ruler, or free clan? I can't recall if you can just pick a fight if you're a vassal or merc, like in Warband. I think not. I think there is some type of quest that lets you attack a lord, though you can get from another lord, lets you attack even if not at war, but then starts a war. But I don't know how to get to it. Wait, how to get it. Okay. If you're not a vassal, just beat up whoever you want. I suggest Embers of the Flames or Hidden Hand. Okay. So here's my answer to the original poster. You won't accomplish much in the first hour of the game. You won't accomplish much in the first 10 hours. No, I won't say 10 hours. That's kind of a lot, right? But in the first hour of the game, I'm just going to explain to you how this game functions. I have multiple playthroughs at this point, so here's my quick breakdown. First couple hours, you work on your own character. You build up his stats. You get good armor. Then, this next couple hours, you build up a small army. You either join as a vassal and fight wars for a kingdom, and you might get some property, or you might not. Then, at the end, you can either choose to stay a vassal and just stay under that kingdom and conquer the whole map, or you can choose to become your own king, either through the main quest or the sandbox mode, which pretty much means reaching clan tier 4 and having one settlement. And that way, you can conquer the world for yourself as your own kingdom. Now, this game is not very fast-paced, if that's what you were looking for. This game does take a little bit of grind in the beginning to get you started, and it definitely takes a lot more grind if you want to take over the whole map. In the first hour, you running around and killing some looters, that's kind of what you're gonna expect. You know, you can play some tournaments, you can do a little bit of trading, you can do a little bit of quests, but that's kind of what the game is, you know. So I don't understand. I don't know if this is a troll post or if it's not a troll post, but if this is just a new player who doesn't understand the concept of the game, this game, you build yourself up, then you build a little army up, then you get a little bit of your, companions, and, you build bigger armies, you get into bigger battles, you can siege castles and things of that nature. But in the first hour, I don't think you have enough units to take any castle whatsoever. Not from personal experience. And even to become a vassal, which is like a part of a kingdom that can vote and also have land, you do need to be clan tier 2 or 3, which does take, I think, more than an hour of game time. So hopefully that explains it to this person if they ever see this video, But yeah, that's kind of how the game works. Okay, guys, I am gonna list all these three forum threads down below in the description. Let me know what you guys think. You guys like the other video. Let me know if you guys want another one sometime soon. Just whenever I find these, I just might as well just talk about them, right? So I do want to have like quick, informative videos on my channel, but I also want to have like these little discussion videos. I know a lot of I know that some of you guys have commented and said, "Hey, I like listening to your commentary in the background as I'm playing or as I'm doing something else," which I totally understand. Trust me. Whenever I'm editing a video or doing something on the computer, I love having like either a podcast on in the background or somebody's video where they're just talking. And I think, the longer it is, the more, I could just sit there and listen to it. So I completely understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. So, yeah, I'm going to try to fit both voids, of quick, informative content and also, some long, drawn out kind of, talking podcast style type of content, if that makes sense. But yeah, without further ado, like always, ask me any questions, any concerns, and stay safe.